Welcome back. This is John Locke. Today I want to talk about a question that a client of mine put to me, and it was very interesting. Let's talk about it. Now, this client said to me, if you could figure out a way to systematize and rank everybody on page 1 of Google within 30 days, you'd be a rich, rich man. You know, if you could figure out how to do, get everybody up there in 30 days. Now, that's a great thought, but it's probably unrealistic that anybody would devise a system that would get everybody up on page 1 within 30 days. And there's a couple of reasons for this, which I want to go into. For one, the most obvious glaring problem is not everybody is starting from the same position. Now, some companies' websites, they might need a little bit of help. It might be that they're on page 2 or page 3, and they might need more appropriate content on their website. They might need design help with their website. They might need more links. They might need a combination of all these things. They might need help on their profiles outside of their website with their Google My Business or their Yelp profile. Or they might have their business categories wrong in their Facebook or yp.com or Yelp or whatever it is. And there's other websites that might need a lot of help. They might be starting where none of the keywords that they're trying to rank for are even in the top 100, which is where a lot of websites actually do start from. A lot of places that I do help, they start from a position like that, where they're not even in the top 100 for any of the keywords that they're trying to rank for. And in those cases, they need all of the above. And 30 days, even if they were to hire a large agency, it would be a challenge to get a business all the way from not in the top 100 to on page 1 for everything. And the reason for that, too, is Google has a little bit of a delayed reaction with some of the things that you're doing to the website. It's not all going to register all at once. So, for example, if you make changes to a page and you get it, even if you get it recrawled fairly quickly, it doesn't mean that the rankings for a particular keyword are going to fluctuate all that quickly. Now, they might bounce. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, I see this too, a lot of cases where, let's say that they're ranking somewhere like on page 8 or 9. They might bump up to like page 3 or 4 or page 2 even in some cases. But a lot of SEOs believe that the rankings on page 1 are treated a little bit differently than the rest of the search rankings. So page 1 is treated as kind of like, if you're up here, you've earned it. And a lot of people actually believe this as well, and I don't know how true this is, but it seems to kind of hold up, at least from what I've observed. I haven't done, thousands and thousands of case studies with this, but a lot of people believe that the top 5 even might be judged a little bit differently. So if you have websites, and especially if you're talking about local SEO, which is usually really competitive, and in a lot of cases, maybe something like Yelp is in the top spot or even the top 2 or 3 spots. But if you're talking about something like that, Google usually has some websites that are proven to satisfy people's search query. And so getting up into that top 5 is a process. First, moving from like way down at the bottom of, page 8 or 9, moving up into page 2, then getting into page 1, and then finally breaking into the top 5 once Google tries you out, because that is part of how it works too. Once you get on page 1, Google might give you a little bit of a push to see how you do against some of the other sites that are also on page 1, push you a little bit higher, see what happens when people click through to your site, and see how people react to it, see if they are satisfied with your website. So if they seem to be, then they might push it higher. But there's some other delayed reactions that happen as well, because the Google algorithm doesn't work just the way that you want it to work. There's reasons behind this. Another delayed reaction is if you make changes to a page, or say for instance, if you add some different backlinks, or you do some other off-page stuff with the business categories, or you get some reviews, things like that, it might not, immediately boost you like all the way to #1 or anything like that, because Google doesn't want SEOs to be doing experiments and seeing, hey, I added this block of text, or I changed this heading, or I changed this title, and then something happened, and the next day, maybe change it and record the results and see what happens again. Now, back in the day, that might have been different, but I really don't see that happening too much in the present day, because I think that Google engineers don't want SEOs to be doing experiments where they can quickly make one change and then assess what happened and know exactly what things have an effect on the ranking algorithm. So there's a delayed reaction there. Another thing as well, Google might not get enough data from user signals to boost you like all the way to the top just immediately. Because like I said, it's almost like a process of like moving you up. It doesn't happen all at once. You're not gonna go like all the way to #1 just immediately in most cases. Because again, Google wants to, using data, using user signals, and I'll link a card up here talking more about user signals, but they actually want to test and see if people are satisfied with your page, and then if they are, they'll push it a little bit higher, but they're not just going to push it for no reason. So another reason as well why it's difficult to get somebody to page 1 within 30 days is oftentimes you need a lot of help. You need content to be written. You need links to be built. You need a redesign on your site. All those things, even if you got them done in the first week, which is, even for a large agency, this is going to be pretty much pushing the limits of capability. It's not going to translate into you're in the top page in the first few weeks. So I mean, those are some really real reasons why this happens. And I want to go on to state what I see happen most often if you make big sweeping changes to a site. Let's say that you have a one-page site built on Wix, built on Weebly or something, just a placeholder site. Maybe the business owner put this site up, or somebody in their family put it up. And let's say that you go in, you make a whole new site, brand new content, brand new design, build some links, all these things, launch a new site. Going up to #1 doesn't happen all at once. It still doesn't happen all at once. It usually takes some time, and usually you will see a little bit of boost because Google will say, hey, this site looks totally different. Looks like there's new content. Looks like there's new links. Looks like all this new stuff is happening. Let's check it out. And they'll give it a bit of a push. But, once they see that it actually is being responded to well by users, and then they'll give it more of a push. So this is all really just to explain this video. For those of you that are wondering, why can't you just make some changes and I'll be #1 in a month? Or why does SEO take so long? Why does it take like a few months? There's often a lot of work that needs to be done. And especially if you're starting from a place where you're not ranking for anything and you're not really getting any traffic from organic search in Google at all. There's usually, a whole array of stuff that needs to be done. Two, even if you did make all those changes, Google puts a delayed reaction on it because they don't want SEOs to do a bunch of A/B testing or split testing to actually backwards engineer the ranking algorithm. And three, they're using real user signals to kind of test what works. And for you to get to page 1 is kind of step 1, but getting even higher in page 1 is kind of the next step. Once you get into the top 5 or the top 3 or 4, then Google pretty much says we're trusting you if you stick there, if you stick up near the top. That means that they trust that people are finding what they're looking for. So that's usually a good sign. That usually means that you got your content and your design and your links and your outside signals like reviews and business categories all correct. So that's usually a good sign. But if you get to page 1, keep pressing, don't get discouraged. It usually takes some time. And what I've seen usually happen is a lot of these ranking changes will happen kind of gradually and then all at once. And I've seen this a few times where we've gone in, redesigned an entire new site, done new content, relaunched it or pushed out these new pages, built links, done all these things. Usually happens, usually takes a little bit of a time. The site will definitely be making some movement. Then it'll get kind of into the top 10. Then after a while, usually what happens is it'll push to like where it's going to end up settling. But it happens over a period of time. It doesn't happen just like that. That's the way Google works. All right, anyway, I hope that clarifies that. My name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and I'm here every single day making videos on SEO. I would love it if you have a question, put it in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. And like I said, I'm here every day, mostly working with industrial manufacturing or blue-collar businesses, helping them. Definitely, most everybody on the roster is doing really well. Happy to hear that. And hey, I'll be back tomorrow. Till next time, peace.